So I have a whole bunch of just old drawings from several years ago, back when I was like really getting into it. Back then we had these scribble pads. So I took a while to get out of them because I actually don't like the paper. But I have more than a few old drawings in here. Let's see. This was something I did when I was bored. I would just like dig into the paper with the pen and just scratch out whatever I could until there was like more markings on just the bottom pages. So not a lot of pages got filled out sometimes. We also shared I also shared the sketches with my siblings, so sometimes it's not just mine in here. So I have to remember which ones I did and which ones maybe my siblings did. This was something else I do. Drawing from life. This was a like plastic toy that was part of our Ninja Turtle set. We had like, I think, plastic nunchucks too. Drew my sock monkey, which was a classic memory of mine, and then I was trying to spell mischievous, I guess. Another thing I would do is I would draw something, and then I'd hate it, and then I'd just scratch it out. But this was me trying to draw a fan we had in our house. Dinosaur eggs, just from Jurassic Park. That one scene where the Velociraptor babies are hatching. Here's another one. You can't like entirely make out the scene, but we got houses, we got the classic cloud shape. This is supposed to be a sun, but it's darkened out, I don't know why. And it's a bird on a tree, and a cat is looking at him, and he's like, that's a bird. But it's a crow or something, I guess, so it's smart. These were the Andrew Loomis faces I would draw, but I didn't really understand the form. So it was like I would draw the face, and then I would draw on the sticker of the nose and the eyes. I would also just like draw random swords. I would do that too. This is just like random doodles. Back when I didn't really know how to fill up a page, it would be like random lines, empty pages, random things. This one is, you know, when you do like the turkey hand outline, but I added claws to make it super spooky because I love spooky stuff. This was just a pen I drew. I feel like I remember that pen. Another hand outline. Oh, here's another thing I do. This was an exercise my dad gave me where he said to draw on, just like doodle around the page and then look in between the lines to try to find something to draw. So we have a snake, egg, diamond, horn, and penguin duck thing. Here's the egg. Here's the snake. I guess that's the diamond? I don't know. I can't see half the things I was talking about. A lot of the pages are empty. They maybe have a few things. This was me trying to draw lips and a face. And a duck. Again, there are some other Loomis faces in here, but I think these were some of my siblings instead. Tried to draw a face. Hated it. Scratched it out. This one's super scary. It's a snake. The clouds, the sun, and a giant snake trying to eat a rabbit. And back when I didn't know how to draw running, I would just draw lines to show the movement. So that's how you know he's running. Here's some more Andrew Loomis faces. I'm not sure if those are mine. Hold on. I'm getting confused here. And they also fell apart. Another thing I hated about these sketchbooks was that they fell apart so quickly because they were just glued. An eyeball. This was something from the Drawing for Dummies. This was another one. Creepy Bear. Looks like a Five Nights at Freddy's thing. This was the little fuzzy guy, and that was another cup that was in the book. That's that one. This one is more like, this was one that was later on. This one my art was getting better. I think this was like the 2020s, 2021 maybe. So I'd been practicing for a bit, and this was, I just like came back to this because I guess I wanted to use the sketchbook again, but then I found out how much the paper freaking sucks. So we got some TV Choi studies, we got a skull study. I wasn't understanding cheekbones at the time. This was when I was learning about straight versus curves with TB Choi, and I'm like, oh my gosh, Josh Black does it too? Joshua Black? This was a meme I drew. I don't really remember. This was me learning a little bit more stuff. A screaming cat. And this was a hoodie I saw, because it was a frog hoodie, and I thought it was cool. That was a face I tried to draw. Wasn't great at them at that time. Don't know what that is. And I think this one is actually mostly empty. Because again, I didn't fill out every page. I do remember doing this. It was an apple on a table, and I shaded it. That was me drawing our grandfather clock. This was another Andrew Loomis head. I think I remember drawing this. It's like some fish thing jumping out of the water with the "You Had a Bad Day" song. I thought that was pretty funny at the time. This was me trying to draw a car. So that was fun. Honestly, still kind of draw cars like that. I think this was me. I tried to draw a road, but I didn't understand what perspective was. This is supposed to be a Hershey kiss. I got confused somewhere along the way, I think. This one, I was bored, and I drew the cover of this sketchbook. Of the scribble pad. Again, the paper here sucks. Like, it's very flimsy. It, like, rips easily. And that's actually all there is in this one. Actually, when I moved past these sketchbooks, we didn't have any, like, other sketchbook stuff until later. So what I would do is I would just grab printer paper and I would, like, sketch on that. This was an old comic. This is maybe, like, 2020s. I don't remember exactly. 2023 or 2022, maybe. But until then, I would just grab printer paper. I would sketch whatever I wanted on it. This was some faces. That was a character from a story of mine. These were, I believe, actually practices from a book. I'll show. These weren't mine. These were characters I did. I had, like, a series of, like, faceless characters, like, where you can't see their eyes. And I liked it because it looked mysterious. Outside of this. No. Sometimes they were one-sided. I would draw, like, one thing on it, and then I would throw it out or whatever. This is a character I came up with. His name is Glivov. And he can shift gravity. And I was like, that was pretty cool. This was when I was listening to the Whopper song meme thing. And I was drawing a whole bunch of Whopper stuff because I thought it was funny. This is the guy when he gets the Whopper. A random sketch there that I didn't finish. Here I was practicing with monarchs, and I really liked the way the lips and the mouths and the teeth were drawn at the time. We got some math, and then this is another character of mine. I was trying to draw yawning. We got Tiki from Miraculous Ladybug. Go to show. Character design I did. He's like a shark creature. He's half human, half shark from random line contour stuff. And then here we have actual practice pages. I was like starting something here, but I turned it into spheres and stretching them and things like that. We got gesture drawings here. And then there was a time when I got Bristol board because I was writing my comic. And I just started using them to sketch out other things. This is Cosmic Gin. And this is Brand. These are other characters of mine from a story I haven't finished or done anything with. These are loose papers. I have to staple them together of a story. I have. But I have to staple those together. I haven't done it yet. One trick I do is if I want to keep them separate from the main pile, I'll turn them horizontally and have them stick out so I know where to grab them. This was another character for another small story I did. This was just a random drawing. I would do that sometimes. This is when I started to find my art name. Ooh, we got more of the mysterious people with their half faces. I thought that was cool. This is back from the 2020 or 2021. This was when I was really new, getting newer at art, and I was like drawing all the fan art. We have Ghostface, or not, Ghost Rider. This was when I was like doing a cross-hatching thing, because again, I was learning from how to draw in the comic book style, and that feathering is one thing they did. I don't like it now, but I was trying, this is me working my way up to trying to draw a Spider-Man versus Venom fight. So we have this one. We have this one. This is me trying to draw Venom, by the way. We have another development. Another attempt. And then eventually, the full illustration. I did not know how the leg muscles worked, and I was very confused by that. I remember that one. This is Venom. Spider-Man swooping down to fight him, and he's like egging him on. Spider-Man versus Venom, and I even made the Venom word like a little wobbly. And this was actually 2020. So yeah, that was when I was like... And then this was me trying to draw his face, and I didn't like it. This was a sketchbook. Just a whole bunch of random stuff. I have some random drawings and things like that, along with random comics. It's a little bit, I feel, disorganized. So I'm not sure. Ooh. This was a character I did from my series Powers. She can control blood, and she becomes a villain. And then this is her adopted brother, or adoptive. I don't know. This was another character I did from another story I had. And yeah, this is just a whole bunch of like comic stuff. Sometimes I had faces in them. Practicing those. Spooky stories. I was like, wow, that was so scary. This was actually a more recent one. So this is the better art. Yeah. This was another comic. This was older, so it's like very, just like featureless characters because I didn't want to draw all that. This is the same story that I did for this. So this was a story I did for 1 Inktober when I did like a demon. And I did this illustration from it. You guys might remember that, but I'm not sure. But basically the story is that in the underworld there were like, oh, there you go, yeah. Two different like factions. Eventually the king of the underworld, King Yald, he wanted the underworld to be a peaceful place, and the Unworldian, that's what they're called, because they're an underworld. They're called the Chaos Tree, and they're very powerful, and they have this constant grin. That's what he is. He's like the leader of this big gang. And she is the princess of King Yald, that lineage. And she has the power to understand languages. And there are many, and she understands, like, any language, right? So, since she's on Earth, there's a whole bunch of stuff with that. But basically, his name is Z? Yeah. He's Z. King Yald found out that he was doing stuff with his gang, and so they were gonna catch them. His gang got put into prison for 10 years, and then he got banished to Earth, and she jumped with him to the banishment because she wanted to rule Earth. And so the two of them were stuck together. He does eventually care for her a lot. And, like, she kind of does, but she also, it takes her a while to, like, understand what kind of like is. But he has the power because they can't speak, or he can't speak. He has a power, right? So whatever he says, he kind of opens up like here. He makes this sound, and then his arm disappears into a portal, and he gets his normal arm back because when he says a word, he opens up a portal requesting something from that someone he said the word to. And, like, words are related to everything, so anything he says could potentially ask for permission from something he didn't want to, so he has to be quiet most of the time. And the words he does say are requesting, like, arms or a leg or something from his gang pals. And then he'll say the word to open up the request again, and then they'll get their arms back. So he's borrowing an arm here to bust open the bank, because they rob the banks, because they think that's how they rule the world, by having a lot of money. This was another drawing I did. There's a half face on there. This was me working out Spartan armor that I did a cosplay of. Some other stuff. Character design, again on Bristol board. This was me drawing along with modern day James. He was showing how to warp proportions, and I thought that was kind of cool, so I drew along with it. Some more League of Legends fan art. This is a Volibear skin, I can't remember which one, and it was from 2021. So that was when I was getting a bit better. This one was an illustration I did where I wanted it to be, the more you look, the more spooky stuff you figure out. Another face, and nothing else. That's sometimes how these pages turned out. I drew one thing on it, and then I threw it away because I didn't care. More characters, more faces, nothing on the back. We got 2 singular gestures and scribbles, and that's all that's on this page. Halo fan art, because I do love me some Halo. There's a cloud, because that's what shapes clouds are. Characters of mine, these two are trying to hide from these scary monsters. I really like that one. I like the shape of his fingers. But, like, he has wings, and it's making it look like the Earth, so they're hiding from him. And I thought that was pretty cool. This was after I got my Halo concept art book, so I wanted to design my own Spartan. His name is Drake. His legs are so long, he is all legs, and that is funny to me. This was when I was doing a drawing 100 heads in 10 days to try to get better at drawing faces, so I was drawing characters from Arcane. Day 4 we had Victor. Line practice on the back. And then we had Jinx. Pretty cool. We have a Halo Spartan. Halo Spartan heads. And that's all that's on here. We got some more faces. And then nothing. Like I said, a lot of the time, I would draw like a couple things on here and then throw it away. These are one of my favorite pages. I really liked this image here. I can't remember if I did that by myself or I was drawing along with someone. I remember I was watching an Ahmed Aldori video, but I can't remember what it was. But I really like that one. Some more gesture. I was doing this squishing bean thing. This was me trying to figure out the structure. This was, I think, some 5-minute gesture drawings. I don't remember where from. It was from a site, that much I remember. That's nothing. More gesture. And then, ooh, some crazy perspective one. I really like that one. Got some depth in there. And then sometimes I would take all of the drawings I did and I would staple them together. And this was like one of my favorite ones. I would just sketch to fill the page. We got some characters. I thought this was funny. A very lanky boy. And then I think I was drawing some references from Pinterest or something. Some more characters. This one looks like a grungy dude. Blood probably never takes a shower. This one I was trying to work out this creepy, like, Halloween carnival, like there's the carnival guy illustration, but I never figured it out, and so I stopped. This was some screaming stuff. This guy's tearing a skateboard move. I like that one. That one was cool. Some dancing. This one, I didn't like where the leg was originally, I think, so I put some tape over it and tried again, because I didn't have sticky notes or something at the time. I think this was some final character sketches. Oh wait, no, there's one more thing. Some cool demon looking things. I liked that one. That one was cool. Don't remember who this character was. Her name's Salvana. But she's like this horse lady, and I was trying to do with like more hard chiseled features. Some more faces. 3 singular drawings, trying to figure out how the jaw opens. Some more featureless characters that I liked. Some drawings between this kid and his brother. His brother's a little mean. This one, you might notice, is a bit off, because I remember I drew something like here, and I thought that it was, like, so scary, I didn't want people to see it, so I tore it off. I can't even remember. I think it was, like, this lady, like, opening her mouth, and her skin was, like, squish. I don't know. It was something that I thought was pretty scary, so I didn't want to do it. This was some drawings from a book, an anime dynamic foreshortening book. How to draw bold manga character designs. That was the reference that I had that my mom gave me for my birthday. So, this is a character of mine from another story I want to do next, after my comic right now. It's based off of phobia. And this was me kind of exploring facial expressions. This was a series of characters I did based off bugs. So he's the hacker. And his backpack is an actual backpack. And I'm like, that's pretty sick. Another doodle on Bristol board. A guy with this 2 kids that he had to rescue. The same bug characters. This one's like a firefly guy. And his beetle wings are filled with liquid. One is filled with oxygen and the other one's filled with liquid. So that he can like press down on his gauntlet or something and it shoots out fire. Because he's a firefly. I thought that one was pretty cool. It's a random character thing. This was a doodle I did. What are those? A+, that's me. Sometimes I would just write goofy little things. Point, because she's pointing. There's a little, like, dragon lizard guy. This one, I was briefly going into an Arctic Ops Gin skin redesign. Oh, this one was fun. So, I was seeing a lot of the Jack in the Box ads, and I thought he was really funny, and I really liked it, because it is an object head, and object heads are pretty character design. We got some Venom versus Carnage, and this one I thought was pretty cool, because it's a camera, and you're replaying it, and it's cracked, and it's like you can see his fingers pressing up against the glass. And this was in 2021. We got a Deadpool drawing, which is funny, because I actually don't really like Deadpool. He's not my favorite character. I really like the Deadpool versus Logan movie that came out. I really like that one, but most Deadpool movies I don't really care for. Same drawing from the guys earlier, but before they found the girl, I guess. And I was really happy with this kid design, because I wasn't good at drawing kids that looked like kids at the time. Some other characters, just a character spread. Faces, single Andrew Loomis head. This one, my mom found me some Copic markers, like, on sale, and so I decided to test it out, and I liked it. Random characters, and then cosplay stuff that I was looking at, because I was working on my Spartan cosplay at the time. We got some Evan and Elvira with their baby boy. And then this is Steven and his wife, I'm forgetting her name at the moment, with their son. And just cute parallel stuff. This was some doodles that I remember I just did kind of offhand. I had the paper with me, a Chad face that I thought was super funny at the time. Some more Evan and Elvira, more faces. This one was me working out a comic panel, and I got blue lead because I was trying that out. Some more random sketch page. This was me being bored. I drew a yawning dog, yawning puppy that I thought was freaking adorable. It's another character thing. This was like a star lady that I thought was pretty cool. Some more faces. Some more faces. And an excerpt from a story that I was like writing at the time. This was a comic. And you can tell that I wasn't great at anatomy yet, or clothes. Because all the clothes, like, stuck to him. This was me working out the drawings for a skeleton cosplay that I did, just my own little character. People liked it at the con. I thought that was pretty cool. They kept asking, like, who I was, and I'm like, oh, it's just my own design. I don't know. Some cylinder practice. I really like this one. This one was, like, one of my favorite things. Dude, something about the sketch. I don't know. I love it. Some random stretches and then putting characters on them. This was, like, probably 2023 or something. So that's a couple things. Another bug character, but he uses his beetle wings as shields. And I thought that was really cool. Character design, huge freaking noggin. We got some more cylinders. And then characters of mine, parallels. And these were just pages filled with sketches. This is another Evan and Elvira, but I drew it face down, so it stretched out the image, and I only realized that after I did it. After I, like, looked it up, and I'm like, oh. This is the drawing that I then scanned to color and ink for the one that I redrew. This one. More arcane sketches. This one I was doing Silco. Characters, or just a gesture and anatomy. A random guy. This was in 2022, so I was getting a bit better. Another character, Fan art. This was when I finished my Flashpoint comics that I got for Christmas, and I loved the Canterbury Cricket. He was one of my favorite characters in the whole thing, so I had to draw him. We got some Halo fan art. Random Halo character I came up with. This was a Mordekaiser redesign, but it doesn't really look like Mordekaiser. Again, League of Legends 2021. This was my own random drawing. He's like cybernetic, and his dog is cybernetic. And crazy stuff. I don't even remember. We got some Red Hood. I love Red Hood. Love Jason Todd. Amazing character. I drew Rorschach. Never watched the movie, but my siblings watched it, and they told me about Rorschach, and I thought Rorschach was cool at the time. This was the Joker Batman. I thought that was pretty cool. And of course, you can't be me without some Spider-Man at some point. I drew all the different Spider-Man people that I like. Spider-Gwen, or Ghost Spider, I found out is her actual name. I think that's a really cool name. This was in the waiting room of our dentist appointment. I had a dentist appointment, and so I just drew while I waited. And then I came back home, and then I colored them in with some stuff. We got Thresh. He was my main at the time. And then I stopped playing the game. But Jin's my main whenever I do ever turn it on, but... And then another character. And then these are all of my old sketches. And then there was a period of time where I started getting just art books from my family, my parents and whatnot. The first book I ever used was Drawing with a Pencil. The second book I ever learned was Fun with a Pencil by Andrew Loomis. Then I got How to Draw Everything and How to Draw Everything Better Every Day. How to Draw... What's this? Hold on. Oh. It's a duck police. I'm gonna need some identification. But How to Draw 30 Days to Learning to Draw. How to Draw Bold Manga Character Designs. That was the reference that I had for that one drawing I showed. And landscape drawing. And this one I kind of learned like wrapping lines and cross-hatching. That was a bit more interesting, I guess. But those were some of the ones I got. I'm not going to show my most recent or more newer ones. I'll probably do that in a separate video. Showing what's on Flaira's bookshelf kind of thing. But there was a period of time when I started getting into oh, that's just everything I dropped. You know what? There was a period of time when I was getting into drawing comics. I found this, and that's what I was doing for anatomy at the time. So I had that. At a period of time when I was trying to figure out the comic style, I thought cartoons was like the next style that I thought was what comics were. So I got this one very coincidentally from my mom for my birthday. I only drew cartoons for like a few weeks or something. I wasn't too long that I dropped that because I found out what I really wanted. This was a book that one of my sisters got me for my birthday, and it's How to Draw Faces, which is a little deceiving because it's just showing how to draw this person from complete scratch. But it was still, like, it's still good, but, like, I only, like, was able to use it. This was some Five Nights at Freddy's comics that I think one of my sisters got me. Or maybe I got it. I can't remember. I thought the art was kind of neat later in the book. And then when I started getting into comics, I got... Stop. Oh, my word, dude. So after I got The Amazing Spider-Man, which is completely true, it is an amazing book, I bought The Batman Who Laughs. And I got, like, cool posters and stuff from it. It was alright. The style wasn't... I thought it was cool-ish in some scenes, but, the style was a bit too grungy for my taste, like, actually, like. When I started really getting into comics, this was the first, like, comic how to draw comics that I got. I then got Framed Ink and later things, but this was also really good for me at the time. Learned a lot from it. Back when I was really, really wanting Halo, I got the Halo Bloodlines series, which I liked until it was towards the end, and then I didn't like it so much. The ending wasn't quite for me. I thought it was kind of bleh, a little weird sometimes, but I did like the overall art. This was just a small thing I got when I was at Rose City at one point. They were just handing out free comics. And so they're like, do you want this? And I'm like, sure. So it's a free comic book sample thing. That was like introducing you to it. Five Nights at Freddy's Ultimate Guide, which is funny because I don't... Okay, maybe... Actually, no, it is. Oh, it is a guide. I'm dumb. Never mind. So it's kind of neat. Had stuff in there. That's how I found out about the comic series, I think, which is when I think I got it because I thought maybe it was neat. This was a random selection of Batman comics that I think one of my brothers found, and I thought it was kind of neat. This one, I didn't really like that much because the entire dialogue that Batman had was, he's trying to find Bane or whatever, and he goes, I'm gonna find you and I'm gonna break your effing back. And that's the only thing he says. And then, yeah, at one point, one Christmas, I open up a box from my brother and I get the entire Flashpoint series. I don't like all of them, but I do like some of them. I have some favorites in here. Green Lantern, not really. The art was a bit odd. There were some, like, bad anatomy things and some things, but one of my favorites is in here. One of my favorite comics. Frankenstein and the Creatures of the Unknown. Love it. One of my favorite comics in here. Beginning, middle, end. Love the characters, love the story, and I just thoroughly enjoyed it. Which makes me interested in watching Creature Commandos, but I haven't yet. Another one was the Green Arrow Industries. That was boring for me. Didn't completely like that one. Hal Jordan. This was his story in the Flashpoint series. I thought it was okay. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't my favorite. We got The Flashpoint that the movie was based off of. Pretty good. I enjoyed it. This was The Flash Age, which you're dealing with a villain called Paradox. And I actually enjoyed that one. That one was pretty cool. I like that. Flashpoint Superman, I think I did like... I actually did, yeah. I liked this little story. I really enjoyed the characters and the art. It was very, very, cool. This was The World of Flashpoint, which I didn't really like. I wasn't too into it. Let's see what else we got here. I think the other story in this, because I had like max 3 stories, 3 like point of views per thing, and then this one was Booster Gold, and I actually really liked Booster. I thought he was kind of cool. We got the Flashpoint, The Flash. This one is showing how... Why am I forgetting his name? The orange one. First thing I turn on and I'm seeing like some of the art in here, and I'm like, oh, okay, kind of interesting. This pose here was really funny to me. And then there was another one. Yeah, so it had that one, the one featuring the Flash, or the bad Flash. For some reason, I'm forgetting his name. Then there was another story with Citizen Cold. Didn't really care for that one too much. That one was just, like, alright. I liked some of the characters. But Citizen Cold kind of sucks. He's kind of a villain. And then we have this cover. I'm trying to remember the name of the series. Legion of Doom. This cover, just absolutely gorgeous. I loved it. The story, kind of gross. So the art had like some blood and like kind of gross scenes, and it was kind of gross. Looking back on it, kind of made me a bit nauseous sometimes with it. This one, the other story that was in here was God of War, and I actually did like that one, I think. It was kind of neat. Then the other one is... Boop, boop, beep, boop, boop, boop. Kid Flash Lost. That one was also pretty good. It's a story where Kid Flash, like, I think is trying to run after Flash, and he gets lost in the future for a period of time. Flashpoint, The Batman. I actually really liked that one as well. The art was pretty neat. A bit grungy sometimes, but, you know, as Batman, that's kind of the story they employed. But I really liked that one, the story that was with that. And then we have Dead Man and the Flying Graysons. I really liked that one. The art was a bit off for me sometimes. Not personally my taste. Again, not bad. Just not for me sometimes. Then the other one they had in here was Deathstroke and the Curse of the Ravager. I didn't really like that one. There was one that was kind of gross sometimes. Sometimes the blood is like brown instead of red. I found that odd. But, and then the other story that was in here, this one's a bit of a bigger one. The other story that was in here was Secret 7, and that was just really trippy and weird, and I didn't really like it too much. Flashpoint, Wonder Woman. It has this one picture of Aquaman. It has, I think, one picture of Aquaman in here that's just so funny. It was the one with the man baby face. That picture? Yeah, that was really funny to me. This one's just mostly focusing on Wonder Woman and Aquaman part of it. I always found that a little bit boring. Lois Lane and the Resistance. I do like the art here. Can't remember who did it. Let's see here. Can't pronounce the name of that one. So it's a mixture of those two. Get Ray Cricket! He's my favorite character. Yeah, he's by far like my favorite character in the whole comics. I love him. We also get this guy, and I liked this guy as well. And then you have the demon. I like how the demon rhymes. Yeah, it's mostly just like the Amazons and Wonder Woman and Aquaman. Ooh, this one I actually also really liked. The Outsider. I really liked him. He was cool. It was kind of funny. And that's what we have here in this one. And then this one is the Flash Volume 1. And I actually really like this one. The art is really good. The story was alright. I don't think it was horrible. But yeah, I actually kind of like this one as well. I loved Godspeed's design. But like how he could run so fast he could form clones of himself. I thought that was pretty cool. And that is all of the old like comics I had and books that I used.